I think a solo travel trip, at least once in your life, is a great way to carve out your character. So let me tell you, I got a little story for you. So, um, I've been wanting to take a solo trip for a long time because I knew that it was something I was scared of doing. I know it sounds silly, I get it, but I was frightened of the idea of being alone somewhere that I've never been by myself. So naturally, the fear was there. So I decided to take a trip to Puerto Rico. I had never been there, but I spoke the language, so that was gonna make it somewhat easy for me. And yeah, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anything, and I got there. I had booked a hostel, but like way outside of the main city area, which obviously was the price I paid for just not having enough money or thinking I didn't have enough money because I went for like a week. So, and the thing is too is I didn't even do any research. So that was like the biggest mistake I made was that like I booked this trip, but I didn't have anything planned for the days I was gonna be there. So I thought it would just be easy to find things to do. So I decided, yeah, went to Puerto Rico, and I got there. Yeah, I went to the beach. I kind of was doing the beach thing for like the first few days. I just didn't know what else to do, and it's not like I rented a car, so I was just kind of just in the main drag. And that was my biggest mistake. But eventually, like first day, second day, I was talking to people. There was other tourists there, so like I spoke to like this dude and his girl from New York. I was meeting people and stuff. It wasn't like anything too crazy, but I was talking to people here and there. And then eventually I met like this girl from like South Carolina or something like that, and hung out with her and her friends. And then I met some other. So the point of the whole point was that like I was, even though I was alone, I was never really alone. I was hanging out with people. I was talking to people, and that was the thing that I learned after that whole thing about doing a solo trip at least once in your life. And I encourage it to anybody that I run into, that I encounter, that wants to listen, that's willing to listen, is take a solo trip at least once in your life, because the one thing you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. And believe it or not, that was not my last solo trip. I took two more after that. I think I'm kind of done with the solo travel for now, just because like it kind of does get boring. Like the whole idea of eating dinner by yourself. After a while, it does get kind of lonely, or just like going back home, or I don't know. It's just I was a little bit uneasy about that part after a while. It was just like, all right, I'm just like kind of just wandering around, eating, not really doing much else. Um, yeah, the random encounters were cool, but that wasn't always something I could depend on for entertainment. So there was some like quiet moments in between, but nevertheless, like I said, I think it's a good opportunity to learn about yourself, put yourself in these experiences that you have to really learn about who you are. And I think solo traveling at least once in your life will do that for you. And I think it's almost like one of the few rites of passage left, right? There's a few. There's like maybe a dietary rite of passage, and this is one of them, right? Traveling alone is definitely a rite of passage in the modern world, right? Because there's not very many, right? And I think a solo journey, is one of those things where you can really find out who you really are, what you're made of, the adventures you want to get yourself into. And like I said, you'll run into some random people, some people more interesting than others, but nevertheless, you'll find people. And the excuse that I was always using to talk to people was like, "Hey, do you mind taking a picture of me real quick?" And it was just like some scenery, and that was like always an easy kind of easy entry point to conversation. I even met like a local girl there. I mean, this is back when I was like very green, so it's not like I had any game or anything, but yeah, I mean, I even got to meet some locals, so it wasn't a bad trip. It was definitely something that I learned a lot from. Um, but like I said, I encourage everybody, if you're in your 20s, if you're a young guy, definitely definitely go out there, get yourself out there, go somewhere you haven't been. Find out what you're made of. Find out who you are. You never know. You might end up liking the place so much you might want to move there. Who knows? All right. Best of luck on your solo journey if you do decide to travel. Get a passport, of course.